Shoot, I say we just jump right in. How about it? Okay, so I'm recording on both my vlogging camera and my iPhone. So, I don't know. I'm going to be looking at two different camera angles throughout this session. I know what you may be thinking, another podcast. But yes, another podcast, because I have never done a podcast before, but I've always wanted to do something. Well, actually, growing up, I wanted to do a talk show. I thought it would be really cool to host a talk show, and not even like a Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon talk show to that capacity. More so, Lily Moscovitz's Princess Diaries. Yeah, that was her podcast, or I'm sorry, was her talk show? What's Good? Well, if it is Lily Moscovitz, I'm stealing your talk show name, because this podcast is going to be What's Really Good with Tori Kinla. Hi everyone. Hello. Yeah, you're probably thinking, another was that even recording? Do not show this message again. Don't use. Orale. Okay. Hi. I'm Tori Kinla. It is so nice to be with you. And you're probably thinking, another fucking podcast. But I've never done a podcast. So yeah, another fucking podcast. Okay? This is a new journey for me. Those that know me and follow me on social media, TikTok, Instagram, even Facebook, know that I, even back in the MySpace days, shoot, if you followed me a real long time back when I was in like high school, we were uploading vlog content to YouTube before Facebook was a thing. Putting that on MySpace. Because that's the generation I come from. I'm a proud millennial. Which is probably cringe to certain generations and certain people, but that's cool. It's cool. I'm creating this podcast because I've wanted to do something like this for a very long time. And I really held off doing it because I didn't want this to be another project that I really wanted to take on and do and then end up not filming episodes because I'm not consistent with it. I have a discipline problem. And I'm trying to work on that. We will be back in therapy very soon. You better believe it. Yeah, this is a little extra, right? I'm using my vocal mic as my podcast mic because my husband was like, we can do that, because he gave me the podcast mic. He set it up and everything, and I just wanted to be close to the mic, and the way the stand was set up, I had to be like up against it, I guess you can say, and I want to be able to lean back like Fat Joe. So yeah, I'm Tori Kinla. Let us go on this journey together. This is going to be a podcast filled with a bunch of different topics, a bunch of different things, genres, I guess you can say. I don't want to categorize myself into a niche because I do think that we will cover more than one topic, because this is humanity. And let me take a sip of my coffee that I should not be drinking because it's like 11:50. It's almost midnight. It's okay. Jordan and Steven are going to be watching this, and they're going to be like, yeah, and that's why you have a messed up sleep schedule. Stop drinking coffee at midnight o'clock. Listen, I want to give you all a background on who I am, for those that don't know me. My name is Victoria Kinla. I just got married at the beginning of this year, January 3rd, 2025. Thank you very much. My husband is Joshua. He's the best. We met in the San Antonio music scene. We met through a mutual friend, and I basically started doing background vocals in Josh's band. Now, let me take you all the way back for a moment. I have been a vocalist and a performer since I was 9 years old. I started in a nonprofit organization here in San Antonio, Texas. Born and raised, that's where I'm from. Proud 210, let's get it. Deuce Time City, if you know, you know. Anyway, I started off in this organization called Network for Young Artists, acronym NIA. I was 9 years old when I first took the stage. I performed at Market Square downtown, which, if you've ever been to San Antonio as a tourist or as a frequent visitor, you've probably been to Market Square. For sure, as a local, I'm sure. In fact, as a local, you might try to steer away from it. It's a very touristy spot, but I spent a lot of my life growing up there because that's where I would perform with Naya. So I started out when I was 9. First 3 songs I ever did: Baila Esta Cumbia by Selena, When You Say Nothing at All by Alison Krauss, and I'm pretty sure it was Boots, Scoot, and Boogie by Brooks and Dunn. Those were the 3 songs I learned. And because you only needed 3 to sing to be able to do an assessment in order to perform. So I've been singing since I was 9 years old. I am a very proud Chicana. I'm very, very proud of my Mexican heritage. I am currently a Nosavo kid, and I say currently because I plan to learn my language. There's that. But I'm still very proud. Although I don't fully understand, I can't communicate, I'm very, very proud of my Chicana heritage. We're on pride. My mom used to hate that. She's like, you're not any, it doesn't matter. I grew up thinking that I was a chola. And for where I lived and what I exuded, I very much was. So anyway, we can get to that story on a different day. Let's see. So I was 9 years old, singing at Market Square, started dancing when I was in middle school. When I was in middle school, I actually got the opportunity to audition for a pregame performance when the Spurs went into the championships. I think it was like, 2005, maybe 2006. I'm not sure. When they played the Pistons and they won. Will Smith did a pre-championship game for, I believe it was game 1. He performed Switch. I auditioned to be in a group to perform Switch as one of the 2 groups of kids that performed on the court with him and his dancers and the Silver Dancers. Rest in peace, Silver Dancers. That's no longer a thing. We loved you. Long live the Silver Dancers. And I got to dance with Will Smith on the court at a Spurs game for the championship, or for the finals, game 1 of the finals. Anyway, so I've done a little bit of dancing. I've done a lot of singing. I was on a hip hop team for the Spurs. They were called the Junior Jammers. I was on the inaugural team. I was the oldest member, and I was on that team for 2 years. And it was a really, really cool experience. We got to we got to dance at 1 game a month. And it was a really, really special time. And my sister and I both got to do that. And it was just really cool. Anyways, so I sang with Naya from the age of 9 all the way to the age of 16. And then I ended up kind of giving it up, quitting. I dealt with a lot of performance anxiety. I had one really traumatic moment. I had one really traumatic moment on a stage once at the Arneson River Theater. We were doing a performance for Mexican Independence Day on September 16th of whatever year. I was a 6th grader and I couldn't tell you right now. And man, I'm like, should I tell that story? Should I just save that for another time? I'm not the best with soft skills, if you can't tell. I am a yapper all day, every day. I get lost in the sauce. So let me try to keep this a little more brief for my introduction. I started singing when I was 9, downtown Market Square, downtown San Antonio. I am also an actress. I did my first ever musical as a senior in high school. I played Cha-Cha Di Gregorio, and I was also a part of the ensemble in Greece at my high school. And I didn't revisit my acting chops until I was 25. So I was in my first musical when I was 17, and then I didn't revisit acting until I was 25. I went to an acting conservatory in Northern California, and I studied there for 3 years, graduated with my bachelor's in acting, came home, moved home to San Antonio. I never thought that I would move back to San Antonio. I always thought that if I did move back to San Antonio, I would be settling. Okay. That came from a little bit of a religious traumatic background, I guess you could say. I was also in Northern California for a ministry school. That's actually why I uprooted from San Antonio and moved out to Northern California. Another story that I will get into on a different day. But I actually did 3 years of ministry school, and then I did 3 years of acting conservatory. Didn't ever think that I would move back home. I was in California 6 years, moved back home. But to this day, I'm still a believer in Christ, and I love the Lord. And I felt peace on moving home back to San Antonio. So that's exactly what I did. And I met my husband. It was crazy. I flew back home on May 31st. I arrived in San Antonio at like, oh gosh, it was nighttime. It was, midnight or something. And then June 1st, I went to an open mic at Black Clover Pub, which is no longer Black Clover Pub, but it's still there off Thousand Oaks. And I met my husband. I met Josh. And I'm like, that's why the Lord was all over it. That's why I had peace coming home, because he knew that he had bigger things in store for me than me moving to Austin to pursue my acting career. Anyway, so that's my experience in performing. I've been singing for a long time. I have my degree in acting. What else? Oh, I'm a licensed cosmetologist. Now, I moved home in May, the very end of May of 2021. I then decided to become a cosmetologist. I enrolled in Aveda here in San Antonio. And I started in November of 2021. So it's been a whirlwind since I got back home. It's been crazy. But I've always enjoyed being in front of the camera. I've always enjoyed talking. I feel very, very comfortable sitting in front of a camera, if you cannot tell, and just kind of being candid. Sorry, all my nose is itchy. Gosh, allergies. I have always, felt extremely comfortable sitting in front of a camera and just doing this. And nowadays, there are a lot of resources for people that enjoy sitting in front of a camera. There's a lot of different outlets: podcasting, content creation, all types of stuff, all types of stuff. And so I've decided to take a shot at this podcasting thing. So like I said, I've been a performer all of my life, which is probably why I perform for love my entire life too. Performing for love. That's my story. That's my childhood wound. One of many. Shoot. Anyway, ministry school for 3 years, acting conservatory for 3 years, all under a church umbrella. It was obviously the ministry school was faith-based, but so was the acting conservatory. So all under one church, a mega church out in Northern California. And a lot of people walked away. A lot of people that I know and a lot of people that I don't know walked away from this church and this school, these schools, very burnt out, but also burned by the church, burned by the leadership. I have a little bit of a different story. A lot of it was extremely healing for me, and I will also go into that another day. But my experience there, for the most part, I really did love and I experienced so much finding of myself and figuring of myself out. And I'm very thankful for that time in my life. But fast forward, I move home, and I hadn't performed vocally. Like, I hadn't sang since I was like 16 years old. I mean, I was like on a worship team when I was in the ministry school, the second year of ministry school. And, I led worship a couple times for church, being on that worship team. But I lie. Hold on. Whoops. Sorry. I completely forgot about my church background before moving to Northern California for this ministry school. I completely forgot that I was a part of a local church here. So I was a part of their choir and their worship team here. And then I also did a few other different worship events with another worship band here in town. So that I did sing in that time. And that was probably the age of like 19 or 20 to the age of 22 when I left. I uprooted from San Antonio at the age of 22. So I come back from Northern California. I moved back home. I'm now 28. And I'd always had a dream to be in a cover band. I always thought that would be really cool, but I didn't put much thought behind it. I never thought to like start my own cover band, never thought to start my own musical projects whatsoever. So fast forward, summer of 2021, I am moving back home. A friend of mine that I had worked with at Bill Miller Barbecue, shout out Bill Miller Barbecue, my first job. I worked there for 6 years. Wasn't great, but I can also get into it later. I made a lot of good friends though, and some of my managers were really cool. Some of the leadership was cool, and yeah, others not so great. But anyway, which also crazy, side note, store 47, 281 and 1604, that Bill Miller, we had a crazy amount of talent at that store. It's crazy the people that came out of there. I'm like, myself included, but like we had people that worked there that ended up being like their original artists, like Shannon, I don't even know how to say her artist name. Sionna? Shannon Sionna. I think it's Sionna, Sionna, but Shannon came out of there. John Eustrom came out of there. Xavier Omar came out of there when he was Spazzy Rocket back in the day. I came out of there. And then there were just other people that could just really sing and play. Played instruments, and Shannon and I both act. And Shannon, I think she started her own a cappella group at Texas State University. So I'm pretty sure she started that. I should get her on here as a guest. We'll see what happens. But there was so much talent at that store. That store must have just, it had something in the barbecue sauce for sure. So anyway, I moved home. My friend that we had worked together at Bill Miller, he's also another musician. He was like, hey, Tori, would you be interested in, coming home and being a part of my friend's band? We're a cover band, and I just think it'd be cool, like if, we could hire you for a few gigs and you can do backing vocals, and I can send you our set list, and maybe you could even sing some, like you could lead some songs. And I was like, hell yeah, because I've always wanted to do something like that. I just never thought that I would. I just didn't, like I said, I didn't put much thought into it past wanting to do it. So I was like, yeah, let's do it. He sends me the set list. We jump on a phone call, me, him, and my future husband, literally, because it was Josh's band that our friend was a part of, our mutual friend. And so I start performing with them, and I do a few gigs here and there, and then I go with them to an open mic at Francis Bogside when it was at the location of St. Mary's and Cesar Chavez. I think that was the streets. But at the original Francis Bogside, there was a badass open mic that Brian Heckler hosted every Wednesday night, and it's still my band hosts an open jam in Francis Bogside. Wednesday night is still my favorite open mic to date. Anyway, I go out there with our friend and Josh, and because they take me out to these open mics, these open jams, that way we can get as much practice in as we'd like. And I meet another guy. He comes right up to me. He comes right up to our table because he knows Josh and our friend. And the reason I'm omitting this friend's name is because I don't know if he wants to be mentioned. We haven't talked to him in a few years, so I don't know. I'm not sure. So I will just continue to refer to him as our friend. Maybe I should change his name. We can call him Brett. Let's call him Brett. Except I don't know if I'm going to remember that, but we'll see. So Josh, Brett, and myself are, we start going to these open mics together, and we're at the Francis Bogside Wednesday night open mic, and I go on stage and we play, me, Josh, and Brett, we play our set and come sit back down in our booth. And this guy comes up to me, and I should probably change his name too, because I don't know if he'd be cool with me. I don't know how this works legally. I'm like, I don't want to be caught up in some case. I don't want to catch a case by accident by just speaking my truth, telling my story. So anyway, we'll change his name too. We'll call him David. Sure. David comes up to me, Josh, and Brett, and he's like, you should sing in my band. He doesn't say it like that. He's like, hey, do you sing in any other bands? Or, you know, like, what do you do? Who else do you sing with? And long story short, I ended up singing in his band for 2 years. Yeah, because I quit his band in 2023. I quit his band to start my own band. There's a lot of drama there. There's a lot of backstory. We're cool now, but there was a lot that went down that caused me to finally quit that band. But it's what I needed, because I needed to start my own band. My now band is Jackie, Not Marilyn. We started our band, or this band, in 2023, shortly after I quit the previous band. So anyways, let's rewind back to 2021. I'm now singing in Josh's band, which was, at the time, it was Ghosts on TV. I'm singing in Josh's band. I start singing in David's band. And yeah, that was, I wasn't really taking other side projects at the time, or I wasn't involved in other side projects. Because David's band, we played every weekend, so we were pretty busy, both in San Antonio and Austin and surrounding areas. So anyway, I started in the cover band scene back in 2021. Shout out to Brett. Thank you for that opportunity. And thank you for introducing me to my husband. And is this still... Oh, son of a gun. Okay, yeah, it is. So, yeah. I've been singing in a cover band since 2021. Started my own cover band, Jackie, Not Marilyn, in 2023. Now we are in November of 2025, and my band is like 2.5 years old at this point. And I'm just really thankful that I decided to start my own band. I love my band. I love my bandmates. We have a lot of fun, and our goal is to make original music eventually. I do have one original song out. It is on Josh's project. Excuse me. It is on my husband's project, and you can search that anywhere. It's on all streaming sites. You can search, what is it? The album is Disco in the Basement, and his artist name for that project specifically is Pastel City Lights. My song that I wrote and that Josh produced is Tallest Girl in the World, and it would be under my surname. Is that what it is? Surname? My maiden name, Victoria Ross. For those that don't know, I spell my name a little funky. It's Victory A. So Victoria, Victory A, Victoria. Now I am Victoria Kinla, but when we recorded that song, I was still just his girlfriend. So it's under Victoria Ross. So anyway, that's my original song that's out for anybody that would like to listen. And also listen to the rest of the project. Josh produced all of that himself, wrote all of that himself, and I'm really proud of him for it. It's an incredible album. Again, on all streaming sites. Disco in the Basement by Pastel City Lights. So anyway, I had started, I've been singing in a cover group now for 4 years. When did I get back into acting? Oh, I got back into acting when I was, is this thing recording? It's on standby. What does that mean? Does that mean it hasn't been recording this entire time? Pause. Oh, shit. Did I just, okay, no. Yeah, no, this has not been recording the entire time, LOL. So, well, what do we do? Hi, I'm gonna start from the beginning. I've just recorded, I don't know how long. I've recorded for quite some time. and we weren't actually recording. My iPhone was recording, but I was not looking into that lens. I was looking into this lens. Oh, girl power. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna start over. And what sticks, sticks, and what doesn't, doesn't. Okay, let's do it. Hi. My name is Tori Kenla, and child, if you do not get off me, get off. I've decided to start a podcast. Now, you might be thinking, not another podcast. But I've never done a podcast, so I'm going to do a podcast. Listen, I've always wanted to do a talk show. I just have. I've always wanted, you know what? You know who inspired me? Lily Moscovitz, The Princess Diaries. And I want to say, if I remember correctly, I think her talk show was called What's Good. So if that's what it was called, well, listen, Lily, your name really stuck with me all of these years. And so now my podcast name is What's Really Good. So, thank you, Lily Moscovitz. Listen, y'all, this podcast is going to be filled with just a little bit of everything. I'm going to talk a lot about my life. I'm going to bring in some really cool people to interview or just, shoot the shit with. And I want to, we'll see. We'll see where it goes. I want to tell y'all a little bit about me and give you just an overview of what to expect with this podcast. As a lot of you know, or if you don't know, I'm very comfortable being in front of a camera. I love being in front of a camera. If you follow me on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, you will see, because I upload my videos on all of those platforms. And y'all, I have a ball. This stuff brings me joy. So here we are. Here we are on the yellow couch with our Betsy Johnson stocking blanket, because it's November. So we're getting into the holiday. Well, we're already fully in the holiday season. I consider Halloween a holiday because it's my favorite holiday. So we're fully in holiday season swing. My husband and I have already decorated our apartment. The Christmas tree is up. Say what you will, I don't give a damn, because we are happy with it. And that also brought us a lot of joy. Decorating. Okay. Since my camera wasn't filming this entire time, that I gave a whole background, we're just gonna go with it. Listen, yes and. We yes and over here, okay? Queens and kings of improv. But this podcast is gonna be, it's gonna be about me and my life. I am, as y'all know, Tori Kidla. I am newly a wife. I'm a newlywed. Joshy and I got married in November. Hello? Ciao. We got married at the beginning of this year, January 3rd, 2025. So I'm newly married. I learned that you are a newlywed for an entire year. So I'm still a newlywed. Holler. Because we're only in November. So I am an artiste. I'm an artist. I am a performing artist at best. Or I say at best. I say that because that is my medium, is performing arts. I am a singer. I am a lead vocalist and frontwoman for my own band, Jackie Not Maryland. It's a cover band here in San Antonio. San Antonio born and raised all my life, aside from the 6 years that I went to school out in California, which we will also dive into eventually. I am the oldest of 4 siblings. Birth order psychology is a real thing, folks. Yeah, the oldest, mind you, and I'm also, if you can't tell, I'm also a woman. So I was a female growing up as the oldest daughter, in a divorced household. Also, another story for a different day. I am a vocalist. I'm an actress. I have an acting degree, so I've done a little bit of that. Not my favorite. I really hate to say that, and I've unpacked it with a couple of my friends, that aspect of my life. I wish I enjoyed acting more. I wonder if it's because I got into it at a much later time in life. I wasn't in my first musical / show until I was 17 years old. And then I didn't actually pursue acting and go to school until I was 25. And then I wasn't in my first professional theater show until the beginning of last year. What was it? March of 2024. And at that time I was 31, almost 32. So, you do the math. I guess I'm wondering if the reason that I don't enjoy acting as much as I do being in a band and performing as a vocalist on stage with my band is because I started acting a lot later in life. But also too, I do feel a freedom and like I feel of just freedom being on a stage as a vocalist because I get to do whatever songs I choose. I get to dance. I don't have a mark. I don't have blocking. I don't have to memorize lines, although I guess technically, you know, singing songs is memorizing lines because you're memorizing lyrics. But anyway, I want to explore that more eventually, maybe with a therapist or maybe with other artists on this yellow couch. Who knows? I have been in 2 professional theater shows. Two. When I say professional, I mean I've gotten paid for these shows. So I was in 1 straight play at the beginning of 2024 and then in a musical at the end of 2024. And then I dropped out of the 3rd musical I was to be, or the 3rd straight play I was to be a part of because I was way too stressed out at the end of last year. So shout out to Velveteen Rabbit. Sorry I had to drop, but the cast was really cool. So at least as far as I knew, as far as I had worked with them. But my favorite show that I have been in here in San Antonio has been Lyric in the Keys. And because let me not get into that. I had a great time doing Crimes of the Heart, and I love the cast. I actually love that story. Crimes of the Heart was the first straight play I ever did professionally here in San Antonio. And then Lyric in the Keys, that was the first professional show, musical that I had ever done. Very new show. The playwright, incredible. I love her. Roxy, shout out to you. But I think I had just the best time doing Lyric in the Keys because my castmates, are you kidding me? Oh, like I really just was really blessed with incredible castmates with both shows that I did, with Crimes of the Heart and with Lyric in the Keys. So shout out to 108 Productions and shout out to the Magic Theater for blessing me with incredible castmates. I love you guys. I miss y'all. Y'all make me want to jump back into theater. But my love for the stage with my band and my schedule will not allow me to do so because my band is pretty booked up, and so I just don't have the time to be able to set aside a couple months to do a show, a theater show, musical, play. Anyway, what else? I've been singing since I was 9. I didn't start my own band until spring of 2022. Spring of 2023. And the reason I started my own band in spring of 2023 is because I quit the band that I previously was with. It was a good run while it lasted, and then it got real messy toward the end. And I was just tired of dealing with one person in particular in this band. And we're good now. We're cool now. I wish him the best, obviously. We're cool now. We really are. But it just was not worth it. It was no longer worth my time. It was no longer worth my energy. But it also was the best thing for me to be able to finally start my own project. And yes, we are primarily a cover band, okay? So we do covers. We don't have original music out yet. But the plan is to do original music. We were supposed to do it this year, but time just slips away when you don't make time for things. A word. Oh, my laptop's not charging. I should charge that. Anyway, a lot of people ask, the name of your band, where did that come from? If I didn't already say it, the name of my band is Jackie, not Marilyn. Yes, that is like Jackie O and Marilyn Monroe. And it comes from the movie Legally Blonde. So, it's in the very beginning of the movie, or toward the beginning of the movie, where Reese Witherspoon, who plays Elle Woods, thinks she is being proposed to by her boyfriend Warner. He's going off to Harvard Law School. She's like, this is the perfect time. They're both about to graduate college with their undergrad, and they're going to dinner, and she thinks she's getting proposed to, and he is breaking up with her. And that's his reasoning. He says, I need a Jackie, not a Marilyn. And that's where it came from. One of my best friends and I were brainstorming. She actually helped me start my band. She was a huge encourager to start my own musical project. And I was like, all right, well, let's do this. Help me out, girl. She's real good with organizing and figuring out, and she just really helped me with all of those details, and down to the fashion, like crazy. Anyway, and we were sitting at a coffee shop, and we were brainstorming different ideas for the name, and she said that. She just like quoted it. She wasn't even using the context of Legally Blonde. She just quoted it, and I was like, that, I actually really love that. So I wrote it down, and now here we are, 2.5 years later, and we are Jackie, not Marilyn. So yeah, I started my own cover band then. And that's what I do. That's what I do. I do cover band shit, yeah. I'm a front woman lead vocalist, and that really is my job. I am a full-time musician. I work and pay the bills doing music, which is such a blessing, because how many people can say that? Or how many people want to be able to say that? You know what I mean? It's really cool. It's really cool. Like I said, I'm the oldest of 4. I'm the eldest daughter. I have 3 siblings. My sister Emily, she is 4 years younger than me. And I have a set of twin brothers, Scott and Spencer. They are 8 years younger than me. And I want, it'd be really cool for y'all to meet them. Maybe one day. Maybe I'll get the boys in M to come do the podcast, to do what's really good. But I am a child of divorce. I'm a type 1 diabetic. Dexcom G7, let's go! I wear a pump now. The Omnipod 5 really saved my life, I feel. No, but it really did help my A1C like crazy. I usually wear it on my arm, but I've started wearing it on my thigh, which I absolutely love. It's just so much easier. It is so much easier. What else would you like to know? I am a proud Chicana. Look. Como la flor. Yeah, thank you. You can clap. Thank you. Proud Chicana. I was born and raised in San Antonio, Texas. Proud Tejana. I'm an Osavo kid, unfortunately. I do plan to change that eventually. I can speak some Spanish, understand even less than, and I sing in Spanish. I grew up singing some mariachi music. I grew up singing Selena. I grew up listening to Selena Cumbia Kings, Linda Ronstadt's Canciones de mi Padre, 1 and 2. Other Spanish artists, other Latin artists. I grew up loving cumbia, loving to dance to cumbia, and gosh, my brain is just going in 1,000 different places with that, because I grew up dancing with my cousins and I having different choreographed routines to different songs, like having choreographed routines to No Tengo Dinero by the Cumbia Kings, or Sabes a Chocolate, or we have a line dance to Antonieta by La Diferencia. So we spent a lot of time performing and having fun with it. And gosh, my childhood was was full of lots of performances and fun and choreography. It was also filled with turmoil. I'm not gonna lie to you. Being the oldest of four and then having parents that, you know, didn't necessarily get along and then eventually facing divorce at the age of 14. Not me, obviously. My parents getting divorced at the age of 14. But then also, if I'm just gonna be completely real with y'all, also being completely fine with my parents splitting up. When my dad and my mom decided that they were going to divorce, I was very happy. And I'm not kidding. I was happy. I was relieved because it was just, our house was not a home. It was not a place of safety or of comfort or of joy. And I'm not, my father was never physically, my mother or father was never physically or sexually abusive. It was just hostile in the way that things could escalate and my parents could yell and fight and bicker and just the anger issues, alcoholism. I will get into that too. I want to keep this introduction episode a little lighter, but these are things that I have struggled with and that my family has struggled with. Both sides, addiction and generational curses like divorce and poverty and yeah. I will say that along with this, I am very privileged and I am very thankful for my upbringing, although it was difficult and we had some really rough times. I am very much aware that I'm very privileged, even in the midst of all of those childhood years and adolescent years. I still had it good. I still had a roof over my head. I still had food to eat. I was still able to participate in extracurriculars with singing lessons and dancing lessons, and then eventually being on dance team in high school for a short time. And so, yeah, I am blessed. I was blessed, but it was hard. So let's see what else. I have a lot of different events in my life that I would like to eventually talk about. Events that some of you may very much be aware of, things that just really shaped me, and things that helped me become the person I am today, things that were really, really difficult, things that were really wonderful, things that I was privileged to experience, like being able to move to California and go to school out there for 6 years, being able to attend ministry school, being able to attend acting conservatory, being able to complete both of those schools, being able to attain my acting degree, being able to go back to school after returning home to San Antonio and become a licensed cosmetologist. A lot of things I've been able to do, and a lot of incredible people that I've met along the way, which I'm going to introduce you all to. You will see some of these different people, these friends, these people that have become family, people that I love, and that I'm so thankful for, and that have been home to me. So you will get to meet them eventually as well. I'm not entirely sure who all that will be or who all is down to come sit with me on this yellow couch. But I think we will have some willing takers. I think we will have some people. And it'll be really cool for you all to get to, just, I think what I'm excited about is, y'all being able to see into my life and see into what Tori has gone through and what Tori is about and what Tori is working toward, and get to share a piece of my life, share a slice of my life, and see and get to meet the people that I love and the company that I keep. So I'm really excited. I'm trying to think if I'm forgetting any important or major factors, if you will. I think I've said most of it. I said I'm type 1 diabetic, I'm a performing artist, I sing and I act and I dance too. I am a wife. I am a daughter of the King. Shout out God. It'll be fun to break that down too, because I love God and I have a relationship with the Lord, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit, but I do not share a whole lot of the same religious beliefs, I guess you could say, than a lot of people I've grown up with and that I have gone to school with. What else? Gosh, I'm a newlywed. I have one original song out. I can't remember if I said this or if this is what I thought was being recorded, but actually wasn't. I do have a single out. It is on Josh's most recent project. It'll be under, the song title is Tallest Girl in the World, and it's under my maiden name, so Victoria Ross. And my name's spelled a little funky. It's Victory A. And yes, it's really spelled like that. And if you're spelling the shortened version, if you're spelling my nickname, which I prefer to go by, Tori, Tory. But my song is Tallest Girl in the World, Victoria Ross. Stream it if you like. If you'd like, you should really stream the entire album. It's really good. It's Josh wrote everything aside from my song. I wrote my song. But he wrote everything, he produced everything. It's under, the album name is Disco in the Basement, artist name Pastel City Lights. So I'm very proud of that body of work. He worked a long time and worked very hard, and he actually got a grant from the city. Shout out to, oh gosh, what was it called? Get Creative SA? I think that's what it's called. And he released that back at the beginning of 2023. What else, y'all? Jeez, okay. Well, like, I feel like that's really it. This is gonna be my journey. Obviously, that's not it. But this is you're gonna see me retell my story and revisit my own journey and my own experiences in my life. From being the oldest the oldest of 4, to being a performing artist, both on an acting stage and on a singing stage, or on a stage with the band. You're going to hear me and my chisme, and just, you'll hear my day-to-day. You'll hear me break down what it looks like for me to be signed to an acting agency. I'm a part of an agency here in town, an agency that represents Texas, I think California, New Mexico. And yeah, I'm just gonna talk to you all as if we're just sitting on a couch at home, because that's exactly what we are doing. And I'm gonna try my best to stay on track. No, I'm not. That's a lie, because I don't stay on track. And that's the fun part about it. It's just gonna be a comfy, cozy type of vibe, and we'll dive into the arts. We'll dive into different episodes with different artists. I would love to bring some of my musician friends in, some of my acting friends in, some my friends that aren't in the performing arts creative space. But I have a friend that's a model who's also in the military. I want to see if she'd be down to do an episode with me. And so, also pause all that to say, humans are so complex. I love us. I do. And we really are created in the image of God, because people try to put you in a box, and it's like, no, you can't put me in a box. Just like you can't put God in a box. Okay. Do not put me in a box. Yeah, we'll get down to the nitty gritty. Maybe one day I'll do an episode where I'm answering questions. We shall see. This is going to be exciting and fun, and let's all just pray that I stick with it. That I am disciplined enough to stick with this, because I think this is gonna be good, y'all. I think this is gonna be good. Because what's really good? This is what's really good, real life. Okay, thank you for being with me. Thank you for being with me on my first episode. This is crazy. This has been a brainchild. A brainchild? I don't think that's it, no. This has been in the works for quite some time. Okay, I'm out of here. It's now probably like 1 a.m, so I should go. I'm gonna try to edit this tonight. Let's see how it goes. Peace out, y'all. Take care. God bless. Don't forget to drink water. Bye.